Okay. Hey, what's up, Riesling cards? Okay, so last time I tasted a white with no color, jumped right in with Riesling because of the nose being so intense, and then talked about lime, some tropical fruit, minerality, and just some crushed rock, real unctuous floral, but crisp and underripe on all of the fruit character. I also, high acid, of course, um, said the alcohol was medium minus, said the body was light to medium minus, and then I ended up calling a Mosel Cabernet. So Mosel Riesling can be off dry to medium dry, so I think they're going to do. I should have looked for something that was dry because, yeah, it's not from the Mosel. It is Riesling. But I think we're looking for something with a little bit of sugar, a little some off dry, and this was like bone dry. So I did talk about Eden or Clare Valley, which that lime candy would be there, tart green apple, tropical fruits. So that could keep me in the right place, but. I think the body is going to be a little higher on those, so the alcohol is going to be a little higher, and the minerality is in the same place. So I think that was a good call to keep it in the old world because it is old world and not a typical Clare or Eden Valley. So what's interesting is that this is still from Alsace. So this is Famille Hugel Classic Riesling. So 12% alcohol. So I'm glad that I called a little bit more alcohol, but the body and everything else. I mean, this is just lean and dry and light and just really beautiful. Even dry Alsatians, I think the style that they're going to go for, a little more body, a little more alcohol, and a little more like ripe cooked, stewed mushroom, a little more funk and fullness. So I think the style of this is way more in Mosel leanness, Clare Valley leanness, Old World acid, sure, absolutely, but not what I would say typically for an Alsatian. But don't get me wrong, it's fucking delicious. Okay, luckily this YouTube is not meant for children. So, let's go from Alsatian Riesling, which is delicious, to some red wine. All right, so this red is clearly, you can just see the light hitting through it. This is low concentration. It is garnet brick color to a very pale reddish brickish rim. There's no sediment or gas. It does not stain the glass, and tearing is moderate minus. So let's move to the nose. It's pretty aromatic. It's pretty red fruit characters. So red cherries, cranberries, they are just ripe to ripe. So they're in that just like underripe up into the ripe. So barely ripe. But yeah, cherries, cranberries, strawberries. The strawberries are not, they're still a little white in the center. There's a little bit of earth to this, tea leaf, soil, dried leaves. There's a fall kind of spice scented note to this one. Sorry, something stuck in my leg. It does have a little bit of like cinnamon, clove, possible oak usage on this one, because there is a little bit of that spice and vanilla and almost like a sweet spice character. So the possible use of oak on this. Smells delicious. Let's move to the palate. Oh yeah, baby. So it's more ripe. There's some tart character here. There's almost like tart black and ripe red. There's a little bit of like blackberry or Asian plum, red plum to this. But cranberry, cherry, strawberry still. There's definitely those sweet spices, so I do think there's a little bit of oak on this wine. It is the tea leaf and clovey kind of spice. sweet earths, and clove is a good one. Wine is sound, right, and delicious. But it is sweet and kind of ripe on the palate. It's a little more sweet and ripe on the palate. Still kind of fruit driven, but there's definitely a nice earthy back tone. Something a little barnyardy, a little animal, a little dirty. Structure-wise, it is dry. It is medium plus acid, medium tannins. There's a little bit of roof of the mouth, tip of the tongue. And it is like a little round, it's like a donut around my tongue of tannins, but nowhere else. It's relatively complex. The wine has a medium plus finish, medium plus complexity. Medium plus finish, medium plus complexity. So body-wise, it's a medium-bodied wine, a little fuller than I would have expected based on the color, and alcohol, tannins. Alcohol is medium plus. I think, yeah. So initial conclusions on this wine, yes, oak, yes, medium plus, body, and alcohol. I think there's reason to believe this is a New World wine, with the ripeness of the fruit on the palate versus the nose, and then the possibility of oak usage. This strikes me color-wise, acidity, red fruited. We're dealing with Pinot Noir Gamay, and with New World, where do we go? Willamette Valley, California, Russian River Valley. We're dealing with America. I think if this were a Pinot from any other New World place, say Tasmania, Australia, New Zealand, anything like that, it would be a little more acidic and a little more kind of earthy. But the ripeness of this makes me want to lean towards California Pinot. It's a very good quality producer. I think it's still youthful, 1 to 4 years, 1 to 3 years. And with the oak usage, I'll lean towards the other end of that, so like the 3 to 4, just because there is a little bit. And quality producer in the Russian River Valley in California in the United States, 2016 Pinot Noir from the Russian River Valley, California, United States. Let's do that. Okay. So, things to learn about Riesling and things to guess about Pinot Noir. It's a real pretty color. All right, enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget, follow me on Instagram, Somm Stacey, Twitter, obviously, hopefully that's where you found me here, Stacey Land, and then comments, questions. Let's make a conversation happen. Thanks.